We have a special guest in Maine, and he came from Miami because we're going to do a taste test, and he's already had the Florida lobster, and now we're going to taste the Maine lobster. So my friend and guest here at this gathering in Maine, the mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez. Francis, welcome. We're happy to have you with us.
Thank you, David. It's an honor and a privilege to fly all the way from the one extreme of the country, Miami, to the other extreme, Maine, both starting with a letter M. And certainly I'm excited about, among many things, tasting the delicious Maine lobster. We just started lobster season actually on August 6th in Miami. So we've been having some of that. And it'll be nice to get a variation.
So we're going to have a taste test with a nice glass of wine. There's a few bottles up here, a little bit.
I'm old enough to drink.
You are?
Yeah.
All right. So you are a growing national personality. You've established your position as the mayor of a significant city. You ask anybody in the country, they'll tell you where Miami is.
Yes.
For whatever reasons. They may never have been there.
Yep.
But there's an image. And your city, we were talking about it last night at dinner, is a gateway city in a world with a lot of turmoil around it. So maybe for listeners, for viewers, you can say a word or two what it's like to be, what do you do when you're the mayor of an international gateway city?
It's challenging and exciting at the same time. You become a student of geopolitics. Oftentimes when you travel, you are received as if you were a head of state throughout the world. And I think one of the things, for us, it's an advantage. Our internationality is an advantage. We think when we're competing in a very competitive world that's very dynamic, you have to stand out in different ways. And I think the fact that Miami is geo-positioned in the center of 5 mega markets, New York, Silicon Valley, South America, the Middle East, and Europe, is something that we are sort of metamorphosizing into or maturing into. And I think for us, it's an exciting moment as the world metamorphosizes as well from an industrial to a digital economy. And there's a variety of macro shifts that are happening with that. And we feel that we're very well positioned to take advantage of that change, which is incredibly disruptive. But we think if managed properly, can create a lot of prosperity for all our citizens.
So, in exercising policy,
yeah,
you have said, I may be a Republican leader, but we have to pay attention to climate change, rising sea level, big deal in your city?
Yeah, it is.
Big deal. Public health, COVID policy, which I happen to personally agree with you, and there's a certain person in the other end of Florida that probably thinks COVID doesn't exist, but that's their problem because we know better. How did you deal with this when you had to interface with political forces that were within your construct and were your opposition to trying to do better for your town, for your community?
I would say I'd say three things. One is you have to be courageous, right? Because sometimes your position, as you said, may not be the most popular one in a given moment, so that's important. I think you have to, trust your process, right? We were very, we didn't politicize COVID, for example. We looked at the science and made decisions on the basis of what we thought was right and what we were being advised. And then I think the third piece is you have to understand the idiosyncrasies of the place you represent. The state of Florida is different from Miami. Miami is the largest urban center in a state with 3 or 4 major urban centers, but a tremendous rural population. So you can't paint the city and the state can't be painted with one brush, right? You have to understand the nuances, and I think that's important as well. And you have to play to your strengths, and like everything else in life, you have to work on your weaknesses. I mean, you have to be conscientious of what they are, and be able to be intentional about working on them.
Quick question for viewers. Did you go fishing today up here?
Did.
Did you catch anything?
Absolutely.
All right.
Come on,
So
I'm
it was
from
a
Miami.
successful trip.
Yes. Thank you, David.
Francis, it's a pleasure to have you
The pleasure's
up here.
mine, David. I appreciate it.
All
Having a lot
right.
of fun in Camp Kotok.
We're going to have fun. We got more to talk about tonight.
Oh, yeah.
All right.